Hello, wrestling fans, and for the 20th time around, thank you for joining us again as we are reliving the extreme, an ECW podcast. Nate Maxon here with you, your host, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And Mr. Chad Austin.
Hey, from Jabronis.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We're glad to have you. This week, we are discussing the episode of ECW from August 31st, 1993, as we roll toward Ultra Clash, and lots of changes coming in ECW as the next month or so goes on that I'm going to be excited to see. I believe so. I think there was even some hints dropped during this show about some changes coming up. But this week, the main event of the show for us to look forward to was Tito Santana and Stan Hansen against Don Morocco and Shane Douglas. So there's where that's headed. But, gentlemen, what's going on out there this week? Anything special? Anything fun?
Well, I mean, I want to get a little deeper into what you thought that what kind of changes are going to be happening. Yeah, I mean, they were pretty subtle. Yes, I totally agree. But how about the gift? I mean, come on, Eddie Gilbert. Seriously, Eddie Gilbert. He couldn't. What, he gave the guy a beer one day, a Bud Light one day. Then all of a sudden he comes back and he gives the guy a screwdriver,
a literal screwdriver.
Yeah, and then he makes. Well, I don't even know if he made it up because maybe Jay Sully needed a screwdriver. But then he comes back with a bottle of Crown Royal. That's not cheap.
And Jay was very happy to see that Crown Royal. Did you notice that?
Well,
I wrote about this opening segment with Jay. Well, actually, the first thing was the Hansen promo on the Ultra Clash, and I actually dug this promo because it was pretty much I'm showing up for a fight because he's like, I don't care about Ultra Clash. Terry Funk's going to call me the day before, and then I'm going to show up in Philadelphia and kick somebody's ass. Pretty much.
Isn't that
I really
what a
dug this promo.
Supposed to be?
Yes, absolutely, and it was Stan Hansen all the way. I love that promo.
Yeah, I totally agree, Aaron. I mean, I get it's got to be unanimous.
Yeah. It was a good way to kick off the show and a different way to kick off. It was, at least it wasn't recapping what happened last week and showing you the entire match of the main event. You know, it was
right,
fresh.
Yeah, you know what? I heard a podcast today and they were doing something, recapping a show, Clash or something, and they were talking about Stan Hansen with the tobacco spit, and they didn't like that character. I didn't like it either, but I mean that Stan Hansen in ECW was great because. He literally looked like he was getting paid by the hour. Like, I'm only here just to do this. He didn't look like somebody who was looking to like draw money or come around and stick around. He was like, I'm here for a weekend, people.
And I'm here to kick somebody's ass and get my check and go.
And go back to Japan, brother.
Whatever you want me to do, I'll do. But this is what I'm doing. I'm getting paid to fuck. Yeah, I wish Stan Hansen would have stuck around, but logistically and economically, that was never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Japan was always going to kill ECW with the finances,
right?
And he didn't give a fuck about all Japan. He could work wherever he wanted to work, still in the States.
Yeah.
And the opening segment here was Sully in the studio and Eddie Gilbert with him. I wrote. Primetime wrestling, this is not. It's like they're trying to be like do a primetime wrestling kind of thing, and it just doesn't work. And I mean, I much like Chad always says, and Aaron says too, we love Eddie Gilbert, but this stuff with him and Sully, it's just ridiculous.
And it was way too long.
It was so long. It was like 11 and a half minutes. It was 11 and a half minutes long.
It probably all boils down to they just didn't have enough decent footage,
and
that ultimately falls back on Eddie. Do you know how easy it would have been to have shot, do the videos, or like do vignettes or just anything, but it had to be him and Jay Sully in the studio. Like, that's the time that you're filling on your goddamn show?
And that's what I actually have here. We're building toward Ultra Clash. It's like 2.5 weeks away or whatever. And they spend 11 and a half minutes on this and nobody cutting promos on the Ultra Clash show other than Hansen. You have, it's just a total kibosh here on hyping your show that's coming up.
Aaron, you want to go first?
Well, Eddie has his Beavis and Butthead shirt that he's super excited about, and
Of course.
says they're Beavis and Butthead, and Sully says, "Well, if we're Beavis and Butthead, I'm definitely Beavis."
Yeah.
I don't know why he wants to be Beavis. And then he gives him a bag of a bottle of Crown Royal, and Jay Sully is super fucking happy. Yeah, he wants the bag
still.
And he's very excited about the Crown Royal.
Yeah, he looks at it like it's a pork chop. It's just like,
Well, I mean, dude, a bottle of Crown Royal for Eddie. How much does the screwdriver cost? A couple bucks. How much does the Bud Light cost? $3. That bottle of Crown Royal is like $20.
mm-hmm.
That was a big get for Jay Sully. So he's hitting the soft spot, or that was like the beginning of your severance pay.
That's what I was about to say. That was Sully's last payoff.
Yeah, there you go, bro. He already insulted his wife on the show by saying he got a birthday card from her.
Yeah, and he says that.
And later on, she's included in his harem as well.
Yeah,
and he also Sully says he wants the bag, and Eddie's like, "Well, you already married one."
Poor Jay Sully. I mean, do you need a new jack to tell you your job is really almost over?
And then Gilbert just. I was just gonna say, and then Gilbert just goes into like a random shoot on Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I told Jess that. I said we always go back to one of the things he remembers is the Asuka against, I think it was Ember Moon at like either a pay-per-view or a takeover, where Asuka always says, "She even work here?" and Jess heard that and she pops for it. So when Eddie Gilbert said the promo about Jerry Lawler, I looked at Jess and I went, "He don't work here.
He don't work here."
And she got it. Like, why is Eddie talking about him?
Yeah. On and on and on about Lawler and the WWF and blah blah blah. And he talks about the people in Memphis. They're paying homage to Eddie as they're actually paying homage to Elvis.
But wait, was there any chance there was a rumor of Lawler coming in then, like any sort of like deal?
I don't think so. No.
We all know how close Eddie was with Jerry,
and
I would guess either, I don't know, somehow Jerry could have gotten involved. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I was also going to say, I think that around this time is when Lawler was working his program with Brett in the WWF. So I don't know if Eddie was just name dropping, for. I don't know. I don't know of anything of Lawler ever.
Yeah, but Lawler never missed the Monday night at the Coliseum.
Right.
I don't know how he worked Bret Hart on Monday night. He was too busy working in front of like 2,500 people in a 12,000 seat arena at the Mid-South Coliseum. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, could there have been something there?
And it's possible. I never heard anything. I never heard anything about Lawler associated with ECW until the '97 stuff with the crossover with Raw and.
Oh, that's the only reason why I asked, because if I would have had an answer to the question, I would have never asked it. But
right.
But I was just like, maybe I'd never heard anybody ever ask that. Was there an opportunity for Lawler to buy in? Was there, or Jarrett to buy in?
Well, it wouldn't have been beyond the realm of possibility that Lawler would make a shot. I mean, if Funk's making shots here and Hanson, they're using older guys to, well, we hope to bring up the younger guys. We haven't necessarily seen that to be the case, but yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, I guess we'll never know. It's not like we're ever going to get Paulie on this show to answer that question. But Up next, we got Sandman and Sal Bellomo are going to be going up against the Koloffs in the ECW Championship Tournament. Aaron transcribed for us a Bellomo promo. One of our favorite segments of the show, which I think is on its way out, but this will be a grand finale for Mr. Bellomo here. Aaron,
this is it?
I don't know. Well, I guess they advanced in the tournament. I think it's soon, though.
Oh, yeah, it's probably soon.
You guys ready for this?
Well, hang on. I just want to tell you that I wrote something down that I thought that I transcribed through the promo. So if you say it the way I said it, then you're doing a good job. Because this is, after you're done, I'll tell you what I heard. If you're
okay.
If you're wrong.
All right, here we go. This is the Sal promo. I'll tell you one thing, my friend. If you don't like this country, get out of here. I came here, this country, I still in this country. This here the flag I will fight for because this people, this country, and there is kids in this country. And this man here give me everything behind to go for, to fight for what? A flag of all the world will look for it. This American flag, I've the one thing to say. I'm fighting for two flags, one for Italy and one for America. This flag, it prove it. No like it, get out of here. That is what that motherfucker said.
What gibberish?
And the whole time, Sandman is just standing next to him laughing.
Aaron, you're my hero because all I wrote down is all of a sudden Sal's a patriot. That's all I had.
Dude,
it took me longer to transcribe it than it did to watch the fucking show.
I think I think I wrote down more notes on that promo than I did on the rest of the show because I didn't take my time to go back and transcribe it. But I wrote a couple of phrases that you nailed them. I was like taking my finger and like reading them. I was like, how the fuck? What the fuck? Just everything to fight for. And now it's just like, oh my God, tremendous job. I can't believe you pulled that off. That's incredible. God. Oh, jeez, a whiz.
I give a salute to you, Aaron. A salute.
Oh, fuck it, that's tremendous. I continue to pop for that. That's funny. That's fucking hilarious. Because even still after you read it, I don't even know what he said.
It still didn't make any sense. Yeah. And then the Koloffs cut a promo, which is your standard Ivan Koloff promo. You know, nothing wrong with it. Not anything to write home about. Ivan's been cutting the same promo since the Crockett days. But then the match happens. And I don't have a lot of notes on the match.
I have 2 notes, and that's it.
Koloff?
Yeah.
Sully,
yeah. Oh, no.
Sully said,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say one of the calls that Sully says is that he is dazzled by the athletics of the wild man Sal Bellomo.
Dazzled. And of course, Heyman has to refer to him as Baba Ganoush or whatever he calls him.
Baba Galooch.
Baba Galooch.
No, I think it's Botcha Galooch.
More like oh, look at you popped him, Chad. You popped Aaron. He popped you. You popped him.
I remember, like back in the day, when I would work like old time job guys. Like I'd be on independent shows, and there'd be guys that that were already on their way done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm almost Barry Horowitz type, but maybe even older. And they would talk about Sal Bellomo and his mule kick. And I wrote a note about that. And he did it. That was one of his go-tos.
We did see that in this match, yeah.
Yeah. People used to bitch about how stiff it was. Because it's kind of hard to, I was kind of a high flyer, mm-hmm. and it was kind of easy to judge, but that's kind of hard to judge how far you're going to kick your legs out.
Right, that's what I was going to say. That's almost a move that's all on the receiver, because Sal's just errantly throwing his back feet or throwing his feet backwards up in the air, and you have to be,
and that comes from a guy that teaches people.
Right.
They have taught people how to work. Like, I'm sorry, but you better ask them how you're going to do this move without fucking hurting me, because I don't know how to do it. It's like that stupid little thing that I don't know what his name is. Pac, mm-hmm. That little Falcon arrow thing.
Yeah, the guy that used to be Neville in WWE.
He does it. That flip spot, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
How long is it going to be till he can't do that anymore? That's not going to last long. But anyway.
The finish, Aaron, did you have another note? You said you had 2 notes on this match.
Just the finish of it. The finish was terrible. Everything about it was terrible.
This tag tournament hasn't had a good finish in it that I've noticed. Like, all of them have been either contrived or botched, or just this whole tournament is just, it's quite the pickle, I'll tell you.
Well, if you want to poll for the We Can't Wrestle community, there you go. What's the worst tag team tournament ever? and then you don't even give another option.
Just one option. Yes, don't even give people the option to add options.
Yeah, it's the ECW. Or, well, yeah, you might have to put that, whatever that NWA thing was with all the internet.
Oh, the internet. Ooh, yeah,
that was pretty bad. But I still think that this tag team tournament was worse. Because at least Ted Petty got beat, or at least somebody got beat clean in a tournament.
And the way this tournament's shaping up, I don't even remember who won. I don't know who's going to win this thing, but it can't be Sal and Sandman. Or it can't. Anyway, like Aaron said, kind of a crappy finish. The Koloffs kind of get duped. Sal Bellomo with the boot shot, and Sal and Sandman go over in this thing.
Salvatore, I mean, seriously, he'll do whatever you got to do to win. I mean, there's big money in it for the kids.
He mentioned the kids in your transcribed promo, didn't he, Aaron?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple times.
There's kids in this country. That's what he says.
Hey,
that's a fact.
You notice, like, Aaron, I thought you would notice this. When Sal came out and he had like the bag of toys and he threw them out to the crowd, a couple of them got thrown back. Like, did you see it?
I didn't see that. I think I was still dazed from the promo.
Yeah, like I was telling Jess we were going somewhere, and I was like, dude, Philadelphia is so brutal. Like, Sal Bellomo threw out stuffed animals for the kids. First off, it's the ECW arena, and they threw them back. She's like, what? They booed Santa Claus. Fuck.
I noticed him throwing the toys, but I didn't notice him coming back. That's funny. I better go back and look at that.
Yeah, there was at least two of them that got thrown back.
The next segment, I was thinking as I was watching this, and tell me if I'm wrong, is Aaron's going to have a lot to say about this segment.
I have a whole lot to say. There was a sign out in the crowd that said Freddie Gilbert is Corey Feldman on IcoPro.
I don't even know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know. Like, where did that correlation come from?
I have no, like, apparently he looks like Corey Feldman and he's buffer than him. I don't know. Basically, the Battle Royal should just be hyped as some scrubs, some strippers, and Sherry Martel. That's all it is. There's nothing to this. Is
what Aaron's referring to is we have this segment where Todd Gordon is in the ring. The first person he introduces for the mixed gender battle royal coming up at Ultra Clash, one of the participants, Peaches. Peaches talks about, I'm getting stuff thrown in my face, I'm getting beat up, blah blah blah. She's airing her grievances here to the ECW arena, and they couldn't care less.
A couple weeks ago.
And then
I'm telling you what's funny is that in Baltimore we have a very distinct accent, like a Northeastern does, kind of thing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I don't have it as bad as most people do. I went to broadcasting school, but when you listen to Peaches, she sounds like she's not from California.
No,
Sandman's not from California either. Like, that's like our accent. It's so East Coast accent that it's so fake.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that I was going to say, I probably myself wouldn't be able to identify it as Baltimore, but I can definitely identify it as East Coast for sure.
Oh, yeah,
not the sunny coast of California. That's for sure.
Even Baltimore will acknowledge Philadelphia. Yeah, that's Philadelphia right there.
After Peaches cuts her promo, kind of. Then out comes Hunter Q. Robbins, who we just can't shake. We just can't get rid of this guy in the ECW. But here he comes. He's going to be in this battle royal, and he plays the old chauvinist gimmick.
Yeah, get him in the kitchen or the bedroom or whatever.
Well, dude, that's the way you set up the way you get him out of there. That's just the build. That's just the build to get him gone. You know, that's not a new trick or anything. He doesn't see it. Obviously, he doesn't see it because he hasn't been around long enough. He doesn't know how it works. Like a lot of guys don't. Well, a lot of the guys don't know when they're getting ready to finish up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn that until I got finished up working for Burt in Ozark Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been there a year, and I didn't work for like 2 weeks, and then Burt calls me in November and says he don't have anything for me until December. So what he did was he starved me out, because I only had X amount of money when I moved there, and I wasn't going home broke. So, I wasn't making fucking money working there. So, yeah, that's what they call starving somebody out of the business. And if you just keep embarrassing the guy, like Hunter Q, having him do, crappy stuff.
Well, now
get the message.
Now that you're saying that, I see it now. What you're saying, I can see. There's been nothing that he's done over the past probably at least month and a half worth of shows where he was in any way, shape, or form put over.
Benefited.
Right.
Nothing benefited him.
Yeah. Now hindsight, now that you've said that, I can see it in the grand scheme of things.
Same thing with Jay Sully.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see how this works.
Sully at least got some booze.
What's that?
Said Sully at least got some booze.
How great would it have been that if next week that Sully didn't show up and they did the angle where Sully was drunk at his house and Eddie took the cameras over there. Now, that would be a good show.
Sully has to live in a house trailer. It has to. He just has to.
Next week, Eddie's going to give Hunter Q a bottle of Listerine. Like, here you go, buddy.
We got to be close to not seeing fucking Hunter Q at all. Did anybody notice the bottom rope wasn't there?
No.
I didn't notice that.
You guys didn't notice that?
No. During the segment? No.
During the bottom rope was gone, and here's what happened. We still haven't talked about the Stan Hansen match.
Yeah, you think they filmed it out of sequence?
Yeah.
Is that where you're getting at?
Yeah. No. Yeah, they filmed the whole entire show, and they just pieced it all together in post-production. But Stan Hansen broke the top rope in the main, whatever, him and Tito against Morocco, Gilbert, whatever. And what happened was that was the Canadian Wolfman and Max Thrasher's ring, and they didn't have a spare top rope. So what they did was they took the middle rope and moved it to the top rope, and then took the bottom rope and moved it to the middle rope. That was their fix. And then go back and watch it. During the whole entire when all the brawls and all came out, there was no bottom rope, and it's so funny watching the girls like just duck under the middle rope, just without like grabbing the bottom rope kind of thing. There's no bottom rope. And then all of a sudden in the Stan Hansen match, there's 3 ropes, and then the rope breaks.
I not to jump ahead, but we brought it up at that Stan Hansen rope break. When that happened, I let out an audible, oh shit, like that. But out next to this segment is I don't know, what do they call her? Terrible Tigra, Terrific Tigra,
Terrible Tigra,
Tigra the Terrible. And here she comes, and she actually, now I'm not saying that her promo was good, but she talked better than I thought she would, if that makes sense. Or maybe it doesn't make sense. Like what she said wasn't of significance, but I expected it to be worse. Then Angel comes out.
I don't know what you expected out of any of them.
Angel comes out, and I don't even know her story. I know nothing about this woman other than she was dressed in Lex Luger's ring attire, his jumpsuit, and she got a mild.
Yokozuna.
Yeah, she got a mild USA chant out of the crowd. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she did.
I laughed at that. I
chant.
totally laughed at that. I was like, oh yeah, she's getting a USA chant. Then we add Freddie Gilbert to the mix, and then Sensational Sherry. Now I know I went through all that. I don't know if you guys have any side notes to any of this.
Well, my thing with Freddie Gilbert is because he's Lawler's kid, he's already like what I would consider talented, right? He has to have some sort of talent, right?
Right.
Is that wrong to assume?
No, you would think that it would be passed on somehow.
And then he realizes he's not a big guy, so he has to learn how to talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Maybe that's his way to, get around the business. And then he meets up with Eddie, and it's like, oh, fuck. Now, your father's, one of the greatest of all time, and then you're learning from Eddie. You have to be good. Has anybody ever did a story on him? Like, what happened to Kevin Lawler?
No. I don't.
Maybe
I know.
We should do one on the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
Do an expose. Yeah, we'll figure out.
Dark Side of Wrestling. Don't steal our gimmick. What happened to Freddie Gilbert?
There's a Sunoco somewhere in Memphis. He's holding down the fort. Now, Sherry cuts a promo. Well, actually, everybody pretty much leaves because Sherry comes out because they're all intimidated by her. And then, of course, Sherry cuts a Sherry promo, which you can't never shake a stick at a Sherry promo. I love Sensational Sherry.
Dude, I couldn't say any more about Sherry. Like, we brought her in. I can say this because I've seen the books. And I think I picked her up a couple times that we brought her in just to bring her in to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like she would do something on the show, of course. Nothing. But we brought her in because someone was like, hey, has anybody seen Sherry in a while? No. Well, let's bring her in.
Yeah. And why not? I mean, even if, like you said, even if she's not going to do anything, she's going to do something, and it's going to be good. I don't know if I ever saw anything Sherry ever did that I didn't like. Just what a performer.
And she was drunk doing it. That's the fucking best part of it. She was drunk during all of it.
I love it when she's doing her Hall of Fame speech and she's talking shit about Bischoff. And then they show Bischoff in the crowd and she goes, oh, damn, I thought you were gone. It gets me every time.
Sherry was bad. There's nobody going to say anything bad about Sherry.
And then after Sherry cuts her promo, Freddie Gilbert comes out with flowers trying to put the moves on Sensational Sherry, and then we find out apparently Freddie Gilbert has
he's pumping Angel. He's
apparently he's got a sordid affair going on with this All-American Angel we got
the
here.
Busty Angel. He's putting it. Kevin Lawler's putting it to her.
That's what her thing said, isn't it? The Busty Angel.
The Busty Angel.
At this point, is Gilbert embarrassed at all about what's being presented on his TV? I mean, do you think I guess he scribbled it down, right? He would have had to wrote it down somewhere. There's no way he's Dutch Mantel. He must have scribbled it down somewhere and said, I think this is going to be a good show. But then I don't think he even knew the players that were involved.
Yeah.
To pull this off.
I have this great thing for people to do, but I don't have the people that can pull it off. It's like a community theater doing Shakespeare.
Yeah. So can you imagine Eddie Gilbert leaving Puerto Rico to come to work for Todd Gordon for less money, but he's in the States and he's safe and he's booking this territory, but this is what he has to work with,
Yeah.
Like what do you do? How does he have to go to I don't know how they do that nonsense where you got to meet the guy every Monday and talk about money or whatever and be like, what are we doing? And he's got to explain well, we need money to do this. He just can't just call Tito Santana. Don't work that way.
I got a great angle that we could do if we could get our hands on such and such. Well, we've got the Super Destroyers. Can we do it with them?
Yeah. And I heard that Alpha and Sika live 40 miles up the road. Can we get them?
Like I said, we've got the Super Destroyers.
The Super Destroyers.
Speaking of the Super Destroyers, they're in our next match in this tag team tournament. It's the Super Destroyers against the Dark Patriot and Eddie Gilbert, Shane Douglas at ringside, and it's interrupted. The match is interrupted by
your brother.
By a segment with Jay Sully and Eddie in the studio, and here comes Mr. Gillum bringing them some Dunkin' Donuts.
And plugging Eddie's shirt.
And plugging Eddie's shirt, yes. And I love Sully. Oh, it's a ruse. It's another ruse. Like, it's the same guy, Sully, you fucking moron. Of course it's a ruse.
He's like, I'm appalled, but he's still taking... He's like, I'm appalled, but he's still like taking the donuts.
Yeah, he's got Crown Royal and donuts. This is his severance package, like Chad said. They're loading him up with goodies so they can give him the boot next week.
Yeah, that's what you do. You build the baby face up when he's getting ready to leave, and then you feed him the Undertaker. And that's your fucking thanks for coming. So yeah, they're building Jay Sonny up. Like, I don't know, I don't remember if I've ever seen it. But they can't just not have Jay Sully at this point. After we're doing this show, they have to have a finish for Jay Sully.
They didn't give us a finish with Stevie Wonderful. We deserve a Sully finish.
Yeah, at least. I mean, seriously, at least.
Maybe he'll get some like epic thing like they gave Bobby. Like, he's just gonna get kicked out of the building. He's gonna be like,
with his
deal here.
I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you do that? The guy has been there since the beginning. You're gone. It's fine. It's a new regime. I'm sure that he had no idea what was going on. No, who had any idea what was going on then and there? Nobody did.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, because Paul's probably already in the back pulling strings, so it made it even more difficult for people to have any idea what was going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody knew, so they just do whatever they're told. But yeah, see, like, it's still a lot of the stuff that you see from Gilbert was shot still kind of before.
Oh yeah, so, you can tell. I mean, you can tell that a lot of this is still probably being shot from right around that time that they were going out. That night he went out and got drunk and did all the stuff in the streets of Philadelphia or whatever. Well, yeah, it's definitely recorded in the same time frame.
Yeah, because if you notice, Eddie's smart enough that he didn't date anything. Mm-hmm. He didn't say what day it was, what night it was, whatever. What time it was.
They probably figured they had to get a lot of shit recorded soon because the building was up for lease.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like, we got a week.
We got a week, and then Comcast is taking the building. So
yeah.
We got to move on here. We go back to the match here, and the Super Destroyers. God, I screwed up the writing down my finish here.
Super D turns on Super D. Super D2 turns on Super D1.
Yes. Well, I know there was a loaded I wrote loaded mask spot and then 2 turns on 1. That was my notes there. So now we've got the feud we've all been waiting for. The Mega Powers explode. The Mega Powers explode here.
No, you got to say it like the right way. You got to say the Super Ds explode.
I don't even know. I mean, I don't know that we ever even get a payoff for this.
I hope not.
To be honest,
I really hope not.
Super go ahead.
Super D headbutts Super D1. I keep saying just Super D. I better differentiate between the Ds. But Super D2 turns on Super D1.
How do you know so?
They just go, ow, he took the money, and then they go to a commercial. Like, they don't even like there's nothing else to it.
Here's my thing about part of that finish was when I believe that was AJ. I will call him Super Destroyer 1. Yes. And then he puts the gimmick in his forehead thing. Mm-hmm. And then he headbutts Super Destroyer 2, Doug. And Doug bumps and takes the finish. Why didn't it hurt Paul? Why, you know what I mean? Like, why didn't it hurt him? It's like put a Lego in there. It could have been a Lego. It would hurt him too, right? It's a fucking Lego. But you know, put it in there. It would hurt you too. So why did you
stepped on one of those fuckers? You ever stepped on a Lego? It'll ruin your whole night.
That's why I'm using that as the analogy. But I remember when I was a kid, I saw a couple of matches where guys would do the gimmick with the mask and put the thing in. And I'm not even saying I was smart to the business. And when the guy headbutted the guy and the guy went down, well, why didn't the other guy at least sell?
Right.
You know, like he hits him, boom, and then it didn't hurt me. Well,
yeah, you should at least, stumble a little bit or something. Yeah,
something. Right. So I never got the I never understood the loaded mask gimmick, and that came from me as an early age, like when I was really really young. Like I just didn't get it. Like I was saying, I don't know. I don't know the way that we're going to see a change here very shortly. Obviously, I don't know if this ever even gets paid off. I guess we'll find out in the next couple of weeks. This Super Destroyer 1, Super Destroyer 2 feud. But the next deal is another tag team match. There's a whole show of tag team matches here. It's the Headhunters who are God, they're worthless. Anyway, the Headhunters against Miguelito Perez and Mr. Danger. Oh.
Mitsuhara Matsunga, I believe is how you pronounce the name.
Well, I don't know. Why didn't one of you guys go back and tape and record Jay Sully
saying it over and over? He's so proud that he can fucking pronounce it.
I'm not even sure it's right.
I don't know if it is either. But he's super like Mr. Danger is like Sully is in love with Mr. Danger. Like he's
Matsunonga. That's what he said.
But no, Mr. Danger is fucking Jay Sully's favorite wrestler. I have a feeling about it because he's like, oh, I went back and I watched his tapes, and Mr. Danger Matsamuka Mongungambunga is my favorite. Like he just fucking loves him. And
he sounds like a mattress. Fuck, I got the Mitsuhiro Matsunaga. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's got a sleep number. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and barbed wire. And nails come out.
Yeah. And Miguel Perez, he gets busted open like within the first 15 seconds of the match, and I don't even see how he got busted open.
Yeah,
I didn't even see the spot where he got busted.
Yeah, that was terrible camera work because I don't think. I mean, let's be honest. Their production budget wasn't so great that there wasn't really somebody. Oh my god, there was somebody directing cameras at the time. I mean, I can tell you that. I mean, you could just see from looking around the ring.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of camera guys. Yeah, there just wasn't somebody directing it, and them guys. There was a language barrier. I didn't see it either because I thought when they said Miguel was busted open, I thought that it was hard way. And then when I saw the gig, I said, no, he cut himself. But no, the camera didn't catch it, man. The camera's got to catch it. But there was just so much going on. And that's about what you're going to do with the fucking Headhunters, man.
Yeah, they zoom in on fucking Matsif or whatever the fuck his name is. And he's just like leaning on, like they're 45 seconds into the match. And they all go out to the apron and the fucking one headhunter, they zoom in on his face and he's like already sucking wind, just leaning over the ropes, like, ugh. And that's like the fucking close up they show of this beast. It's like Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you what though, he got a big pop for the moonsault.
Yeah, well, and that fat fuck getting superplexed. I mean,
I was gonna say I have the main note that I have on this is, well, first of all, the name deal, and then the Headhunters are useless pretty much. But also, I think that considering the match in and of itself, Miguel Perez worked his ass off in this match.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed him in this match. The other three, not so much. But I was digging Miguel here. He was doing a good job.
You don't like Masamofa Ungamunga?
I do not. Unga bunga.
But one of the only other notes I had was that I kind of miss. What is it? Oh, is that you with Miguel?
That's cool.
It was that weekend.
I was just gonna say I miss they superplexed the fucking fat headhunter 2,
the fat headhunter,
the fat headhunter number 2 off of the top rope, and the people go insane. And I kind of miss the days where something like that would make people go insane. Now that would just be like a commercial break spot. Like that would happen, and they'd be like, "Oh, what's going to happen next?"
That would happen. No, that would happen in the picture-in-picture nowadays.
Just saying, like this match was not like you said. Miguel worked his ass off and everything, but if you want to get down to it, it comes down to entertaining the crowd, and the people were into this fucking match.
Well, I mean, I love the pairing of. I mean, we could do a whole nother show about this, about the Wing and ECW pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a great idea because ECW was the alternative company, you know,
right?
It was the alternative gimmick, and then Wing was like. Not FMW, where FMW was the WWE of outlaw macho wrestling,
right?
You know, and then you had Wing was like, "Well, watch this. We're gonna put snakes."
I think that's kind of what a couple of weeks ago. I know I said that I felt a change coming, and couldn't quite put my finger on why. And I think, to be honest, it was just the addition of Wing. You know, it's because. For a lot of what we watched for the first maybe at least 3 months of the show was essentially just an East Coast independent show. Yeah. And then introducing that flavor, even though it was the Headhunters, you know, they're not exactly the best workers in the world, but they were in the
they were in the magazines and stuff. These were the guys that the ECW crowd would have wanted to see. It's kind of like when you hear about a guy, like when you used to read about a guy in a magazine. And then you finally see him. It's like, maybe he wasn't exactly what I thought he would be, you know. But
right.
Yeah, I thought it was great because based on the ECW fan base, they were all bloodthirsty guys, and Wing was hot. And I don't know, just give me a number. 88% of the people in the building were like tape traders and were smart, so they knew about Wing.
Right.
You know, Wing was the the FMW WWE kind of thing, and they were just doing such ridiculous. It was. I have all their stuff, and it is ridiculous because none of them ever paid off. Did you see all their matches?
I have a couple of those DVD. I have a couple of the Wing things. I have a couple of the Wing DVDs that they had put out, and a couple of the FMW DVDs that they'd put out.
None of them shows ever paid off.
No, not at all. And it was a gruesome spectacle. But other than that,
I thought the bed of nails was going to be a hard one to pull off, but apparently there's a Las Vegas trick to it, and I didn't know that because. I can pretty much. What's that?
I think I know what the trick is, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, I thought as a worker, how you learn how to take bumps and how certain bumps are supposed to be taken, that I could figure out how to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do them on the ground, outside the ring. You know what I mean, like outside the ring and on other stuff. And I figure I could pull that off. But I'm like, how do you do it on nails? And then I found out that it's a trick to it. I mean, Aaron, you think you know the trick? You tell me, because
didn't they say if you put like all the nails like as close to as possible together or something like that, it doesn't puncture as much or something like that?
That's not what I heard. No.
Okay.
I mean, I just heard, and believe me, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying. I mean, what I heard was you put all your body weight like flat on the bed. I mean, somebody might, listen to this and, believe me, if somebody's listening to this and it's going to explain to me how you do this, I'm not sure I want them to be listening to this. That's some fucking outlaw macho shit. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. It has to be a weight displacement thing somehow.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, just, and it is funny how that kind of stuff works. Okay, off topic, has nothing to do with wrestling, but I, working retail, the unloading trucks, and then the forklift, okay? So there was a time that my receiving manager, we were unloading a truck, she backed the forklift up, and I, being I don't know, at the time, a moron, I turned around, and that forklift, I shit you not, ran over my right foot. She stopped the forklift. I looked like I was going to shit myself. She looked at me. I looked at her. That thing did not hurt my foot. It didn't. And it had to just, that's all I can think of, is it was just the way the weight of the tire and the weight of the forklift were displaced upon my foot or something. My foot wasn't hurt. My foot wasn't bruised. It felt like a bicycle tire ran over my foot. But anyway, and that's got to be the trick. It's got to be some kind of weight.
You're not a worker. If you were a worker, you would have sold that shit. You would have grabbed that foot. You would have rolled around. You would have sold it.
Yeah, you'd own Big Lots right now.
Workman's comp.
Yeah, you would have been selling that shit. Like today, I had to do another podcast for a buddy of mine. His name is Ray Chance, and this is the Happy Hour podcast. I'm sorry for the cheap plug, but the guy one of the guys on the show got rear-ended when he was going to the liquor store, and he's like, the guy hit me, and I'm like, you didn't sell? He's going to a liquor store, so it wasn't a big deal,
Right.
So I was like, fall out of the car. Wait, get some color, man. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, dude, I'll sell for anything.
And then now we move on to our main event here.
Go. Sorry. I'm just saying, I'm not a Headhunters fan, but I didn't hate this segment. I enjoyed this. I thought Miguel Perez and Muskrat Unga Bunga did a good job.
It's Matsunongu.
Mr. Danger.
Yeah, I love it. I thought it was great. I mean, it's exactly what I think people at that time in that area they needed to see. Like it was a great, like, hey, look at this, man.
Like maybe it was. I didn't mean to interrupt. Maybe do you think maybe this was Paulie like testing the water? Like, hey, let's put this out here, not make it the focal point, but let's see how the people react to it.
No, I think it was Eddie's last resort.
Oh,
I think. This is completely my opinion. Let me get that straight. I think Todd was telling Eddie that he was running out of money, and because of Eddie's IWA commitment, that he tried to get Victor to try to get in. Yeah. That's what I think, and I don't know anything else besides, I don't know if Todd liked it, didn't like it, I don't know, but yeah, that's what I think. I think the money was running out, at least for Eddie.
Yeah.
This stuff is definitely, and that's why I said this is where I see, especially the past couple of weeks, the changes that I was kind of alluding to. Like I said, it's something different. It's whether good, bad, or indifferent, it's something different, and it's definitely showing you the direction the company's going to be going. Now, the direction that it's in is this next tag team main event. We have our recently crowned ECW champion Tito Santana and Mr. Stan Hansen against Don Morocco and Shane Douglas from the Dangerous Hot Stuffs. And yeah, the match happened. And I gotta say that go ahead, Aaron.
There was a sign out in the crowd that said Geeko Santana.
Got it. Wrote it down.
Geeko Santana.
Not only Geeko, that's a smear.
Yeah.
Smear.
Well, the fucking dudes couldn't coordinate their signs. Like Geeko would hang up his shit or hold up his shit, and then Smear would hold up his. Like they didn't coordinate well enough. But yeah, they Smear the Geeko Santana.
Yeah, that was the best part of the match. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to say, dissecting it a lot wise. It
Mhm.
wasn't bad.
Did you see the sign they would hold up whenever Hanson got in the ring? Did you see that sign?
I don't know. I don't have a note.
Every time Hanson would tag in or come in the ring, a Geeko Santana sign guy would hold up a sign that said "Keg Gut."
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Keg Gut.
I'd pop for that. I'd probably pop for that. Stan Hansen in the ring in a song.
Yeah.
Give him a boo.
Yeah.
I've done it before when I'm doing something in the ring and I look out and I see a sign. I go, that's pretty funny. And, how wrestlers say like, yeah, I'll look for you in the crowd. I just saw a funny sign.
The match itself, nothing offensive, but nothing great, and it's interrupted. They interrupt their main event with a special announcement that the ECW wants you to take a look at this footage of Abdullah the Butcher, which I believe is the same package we saw last week. I recognized most of the footage. Only this time the WWE Network didn't put really heavy-handed music over it.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know they even changed the music.
Yeah, last week it seemed like the one they showed last week, like the WWE had put some heavy-handed music over it where I couldn't really make out the commentary or what was being vocalized in the video. This week I could make it out perfectly. Or maybe last week I was drunk and imagined music. I don't know, but I didn't. This week it seemed more. There was more clarity to the video, but they still bothered to interrupt their main event with this, which. They're trying to fit too much in one show. I don't know. They could have cut that opening segment by.
Doesn't the fact that you're betting a whole lot of money on Abdullah the Butcher to show up at your show, your big show?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that just reek of I'm desperate?
A little bit.
I mean, if you don't know why, I'll tell you why.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, because Abdullah the Butcher's famous for not showing up because he doesn't want to, or whatever happened. So why would you put Abdullah the Butcher's name on the marquee? One of your major stars to show up if you weren't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that?
It's risk it all, I guess. Just
that's the sign. There's no money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sign that there isn't any money to be made here. Because they're bringing in Abby, and he's gonna like hot shot the territory with Abby. So what? He comes in for a weekend,
has 2 matches or calls them matches, and
he kills
out he goes.
Poor Hervey. He's gonna kill poor Hervey. He's gonna try that big elbow, and then all of a sudden Donnie Allen's gonna run out, and he's gonna give him the wow. Yeah, they're all gonna feel the pain of Abdullah the Butcher.
Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal, you're going down.
Apparently. Yeah, so, that Stan Hansen's another guy. How can you build a territory around a guy like Stan Hansen?
But you obviously can't afford you can't afford him for more than 1 or 2 shots. I mean, it's nice of him that he showed up for this TV taping and that he's going to show up for Ultra Clash. But like you're kind of alluding to, I think after that, are you going to be able to afford Stan Hansen to come in, to fly into Philadelphia every 3 weeks when you record television to be a main part of your show? And probably not is the answer.
Yeah, and we still got to deal with the Sheik. I mean, they bring the Sheik in.
And honestly, how much of this was Terry Funk telling these guys, hey, man, get in here as soon as you can. We'll get some money from this guy. It's probably not going to last very long. You know what I mean?
I don't think so at all. I totally disagree. I think Terry was one of the. I think Terry. I honestly think this. Terry saw something there, and he helped out a lot more than I guess history will ever know. More than I'll ever know, because he was closer to Paulie. I wasn't close to Paulie, but he was closer to Paulie. I bet you Terry Funk helped out more than most people will ever know about what he did. About getting guys. I mean, getting guys is not a big fucking deal. I'll pay you.
Right?
Yeah,
that's not a big deal. But Terry Funk is like, I'll get these guys. These guys will legitimize your your product. And I remember seeing the Sheik in the locker room. Dude, I was scared to death. I was. There was a door between where I guess the main people stayed. It was all open. But there was a wall and a door, and then the jabronis stayed on the other side, and the Sheik stayed right by the door, and got dressed. And I walked by him, and I looked at him, and I went, "Oh," and I just took my hand, and I was like, "Mr. Sheik, I don't know." Nice to meet you. And he just shook my hand, but he kayfabed me, and he just yeah, and he was wearing that pinstripe that suit that he had. But I was, dude, him and Abby were the two guys that I've never ever been around that I was like, I don't want to meet these guys unless somebody checks Abdullah for a fork.
Sheik even kayfabed his family, didn't he? He made them kayfabe or whatever. I think they were supposed to call him Mr. Sheik in public and blah blah blah.
Well, it's when he had guests over for dinner. He would have certain people over for dinner that were wrestlers that were wrestling in the territory that may have not have been heels. And when they were at his dinner, they would kayfabe. Everybody was kayfabe. The Sheik was just completely just kayfabe. What the fuck, dude? How the fuck do you want to? Why the fuck do I want to live like that?
Right.
Everywhere I go, no, I didn't.
That's why people now, they're like, oh, the Undertaker's killing his mystique and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, it's been 30 fucking years. Let him talk like a man for a little bit.
For the guy's got to walk around and got to go.
I know he's not dead.
Right.
It's fucking crazy.
His name's Mark.
Well, Aaron, the finish to this match, Fireball. Well, all right, the finish is, the ring breaks. The rope breaks, as Chad alluded to earlier. And we get us a little double disqualification. Any comments on the match, guys?
No, it's not a double disqualification. Not a double. During the credits, they announced Tito and Stan Hansen as the winners by disqualification.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Try paying attention next time.
I missed that. I got my foot run over by a forklift, damn it. Anyway,
Eddie accidentally fireballs the Dark Patriot, and that's why I don't know how this tournament's going to go, because didn't they make it to the finals?
Yes.
Well,
and Sal Bellomo and Sandman made it to the finals.
It'll be Sal Bellomo and Sandman against Beavis and Butthead. They'll just. Whatever. This tournament's been so. Who the fuck's ever lost? Like you said, Nate. Anybody lost in this tournament?
No, nobody's lost. Nobody's won. And at one point, there was a coin toss.
Why don't they all come out?
Fuck it. Paper, rock, scissors. Who's the champion?
Or have a battle royal.
Maybe it'll be Jay Sully and Stevie Wonderful.
How great was that battle royal on was it AEW where it was a tag team battle royal, but when you threw the one guy over, you had to throw the other guy over too.
It was
just a battle royal.
So it's a battle royal. And they were like, oh, and I saw one guy going, I'm like, wow, they got rid of Sammy Guevara so early. And then why is Christian? And I was like, why is he still in the ring? Yeah, it's I guess it's semantics about rules. If you're gonna have rules.
Right. Now, this show, as it ends, I had more positive about this show than I did negative, which I have not been able to say so far a lot on this journey.
I do like the fact that they got rid of the weird, pinkish credits thing. The little box as the credits rolled was better.
Mm-hmm. So overall, what did you guys think of the show?
Good, Aaron.
One thing I noticed during the credits also is that John Gillen got an associate producer credit.
I saw that.
Yeah, Other than the opening studio thing that Nate said was like 11 and a half minutes, I thought the show clipped along good, and it didn't, nothing overstayed its welcome other than that 11 and a half minutes of Sully getting some Crown Royal. So I didn't think it was a bad show. I was entertained by this show.
I liked it too.
My turn?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm not going to say that I enjoyed it, but I would say that I chuckled at it more than I have in the last, 3 months. At any other show.
Less shaking of the head and more chuckling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the word doozy at all written on this piece of paper. Like, I don't find the word doozy. And I'm reading everything, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? After everything that I saw, that wasn't kind of half bad. Not saying that it was good.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to give him too much credit yet.
Yeah, I just said it wasn't half bad. And I've never wrote this before on one of my grades, but at the bottom I wrote what my grade was for the show, because hopefully one day I'm going to sell my whole entire journal of my notes for this, because everybody's clamoring for it. Much less everybody's clamoring for the Chad Austin Demerit cameo coming soon, mind you. And
I'll buy one.
oh, please! It's going to be very, very affordable, and you probably get a DVD too with it. I gave it a D minus. I actually gave it a grade. It was a D minus.
That is improvement, folks. Mark that down. Episode 20 of Reliving the Extreme. Chad's finally got a legit grade for one of these shows.
Yeah, and that's what the Super Ds are now. They're a D minus.
Well, I mean, the show actually started to look like it was going somewhere, and starting to look like, and 2-3 weeks in are different shows. So starting to look like is good, because now you want to like, oh man, I can't wait to see, But go ahead.
No, I was going to say I hate to harp on it, but just think how I bet, and you could tell me I'm wrong, but I bet you could have given it a D plus had they not done 11 minutes at the beginning with Sully and Eddie, and like I said, thrown in some promos hyping Ultra Clash, hyping some of those matches. I mean, just some substance, instead of time wasting, some substance.
Talking about the differences of like how the show is improved, it's like it's almost like Cabrini was like a different show or like a different promotion,
a different company.
Yeah, yeah, it's like it's drastically changing.
Yeah, and
once we get rid of the D's and Hunter Q.
What's that?
Then once we get rid of the D's and Hunter Q, it's like everything's.
Well, I mean, what are we like 3 weeks away? I mean, we're probably 4 weeks away from television, but what, 2 weeks away from the show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Ultra Clash is, I think, September 18th. Yeah, and this show is August 31st. So, yeah, I mean, we're only a few shows in. And so, just so the listeners know, I kind of looked ahead. I didn't watch anything, but I kind of looked ahead through the shows because I wanted to see, because I had a feeling that we were going to get one of those, like, recap shows again coming up before the big show. And
why?
I think,
because of the gap in dates?
Yeah. So September 7th, next week, we will actually watch the show. But the September 14th, 93 show is, I looked at the clips, the little highlights or whatever on the network. It's all recap stuff. So we won't be watching the 14th. We'll be watching September 7th next week, and then we will be watching Ultra Clash. So that's where we're headed, folks. And speaking of next week's show, let me give you a little preview. I'll read the preview from the WWE Network so we know what we have to look forward to or not look forward to next week. On this edition of Eastern Championship Wrestling, Stan the Lariat Hansen prepares for Ultra Clash by taking on the duo of Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal.
Fuck yeah!
In a handicap match. Plus,
I didn't even know it was coming up. So I wasn't even ready for the fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. It's with Donnie and Hervé. Come on.
Plus a look at Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and the Dark Patriot going after the ECW tag team titles. And JT Smith faces Mr. Mortagi and much more. I don't know who Mr. Mortagi is.
He was the guy that came in the ring with the oh my god! I can't believe I didn't cut in earlier to tell you that.
Was he the guy that was in the suit, like the
no, he had like Zupa pants on or something. He had Zubas on.
He came in the ring during the Headhunters and
okay, yeah,
he was wearing that suit. He was Matsu. I know his name because I met him. His last name is Motegi, but his name is like Matsutaga Motegi. But that was the guy that came in the ring when the Headhunters and all that shit was going on. That was him. And I couldn't believe that we didn't none of us caught that and said it during that segment.
So was he with Miguel Perez? And
he was a wing guy. He was a wing fucking a dojo guy.
Well,
he was a new guy.
We get to watch him fight JT next week.
Yeah, I just watched him get in the ring, and I didn't know if he was with Harvey Danger and fucking Miguel Perez or what.
Flagpole sitter. Good deep cut there. I like.
Dude, that guy is ridiculous, dude. And he don't do drugs. I can't figure that nonsense out. What the fuck you want to do all that shit to your body? Dude, have you seen him recently?
No.
Dude, he's ridiculous. Like he'd be a great action figure if you can take his body and put Sabu's head on it. If you want to sell a whole lot of Sabu action figures. Because Sabu's more known than Matsunaga. God damn, his body is ravished.
That's rough.
And I'm not even sure he's retired.
Jesus Christ. Well, that being said, Chad, any parting words for our listeners this week?
No, like I said, I gave the show an actual rating. I thought it was a D. Like it was definitely a step in the right direction. I'm sure Aaron they can agree with me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what we have coming up. And anybody who wants to follow me, I'm on the Twitter as Chad Austin Demir. Follow me on Facebook as Chad Austin Demir. And I just want to give a shout out. I'm sorry, I don't mind. To my friend Ray Chance at his Happy Hour podcast. Mm-hmm. You can find it on Spotify and other platforms.
Because of Chad letting me know about it, I actually listened to that show on Spotify. I've listened to a few episodes, and it's really good. I enjoy it. Aaron?
I just want to say that the Facebook group has grown. We're at, I believe the last time I checked, 106 members, which is appreciated. And there are actually people posting and contributing things, which is nice to see. Yes. And it is something that I want to see you guys keep going with. And tomorrow is going to be the release of the ECW Best of the Best.
Here comes the Busty Angel.
And Busty Angel's coming out. The best of the best tournament brackets will be released tomorrow. So look forward to that, bitches.
Well, and that is awesome. Aaron's tournaments that he does online are awesome. They're fun. We do some free giveaways also in the We Can't Wrestle podcast group as well. And I'll announce as we go off the air just this evening, we have it set up. You can follow us on Twitter. I will post that in the Facebook group for people to be able to follow. We are at Reliving Extreme on Twitter. And that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining us this week on Reliving the Extreme. We will see you next week. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great week.